Boops Are Eternal, Chapter 7. What a Man Must Do When Incredibly Bored, and How to Offend a Princess Unwittingly. When your laughter fit was done, there wasn't much else to do. Like, at all. Was there a version of bored that represented the difference between sad and depressed? If so, you're feeling that right now. Coming off the rush of that stupid scratching session, you had a decent 5 minutes of proxy chuckles before it just... it just dropped. Life sucks No more of that, no more of that. They have hug piles here. You just need to remind yourself of that often enough and everything will be fine. Regardless if you actually get to participate in one again. Why are you adding depression on top of boredom? Worse even, everything aches horribly. Seriously, Captain Edge, you lost another girlfriend or something? I'm dying here. With that kind of voice, Manhattan would be fun to torment. If you ever got out of this bed, that is. You groan outwardly, as if it'll solve all the universe's problems. It doesn't, but it makes you feel better. By this point, you're playing that one battle themed from Homeworld onto your belly, where it doesn't hurt on repeat. You know the one. You're also mimicking that really weird instrument with intense humming, and probably offending at least, 20 cultures while doing so, but hey, fuck 'em, you're in Ponyland, you can do whatever you like. And then it turned out to be some grandiose Matrix experiment or something, and you finally get removed from being too much of an ass. That would suck, but it would also make you laugh like a madman before they put you into a chair. Still, got execution on the mind even without the princess around, oddly enough. Weird thought. But ponies in space sounds fun. Being turned into a biomechanical blob of neural fluid? Less fun. Man, what would you do to get your laptop in Equestria along with some convoluted way to charge it? You groan loudly, again. Mr. Edge! As if Sanchez timing itself was channeled into the material plane, Mr. Edge enters through a door. You actually cheer. What has your life come to, Anon? Give me drugs to ignore the pain. I want more drugs! You have absolutely zero regrets saying that, and you're grinning like an idiot. Mr. Edge, on the other hand, gives you that look of, are you fucking kidding me? Why is this my job? Can I kill myself yet, please? That you'd expect from somebody with his color scheme. Drugs! Please! Your cries go unnoticed, and he instead goes to do other nursely things, like making sure you don't have sores or something. Fucking guy, not giving you drugs to check on your health? You didn't sign up for this, you want medical-grade drugs, and now damn it. Taking that out of context for a moment made you giggle like a madman. Something that Mr. Edge gives you a look for. Fuck him anyways. Have you been feeling any pain? Yes, everywhere, constantly. For what it's worth, he sends you a confused look before checking a nearby IV. With a pink-as-hell aura of magic, he checks it or something, and starts to look extremely confused. That was some of our strongest... How in Celestia's name did you go through that already? While you know he was asking himself that question, you decide to flail an arm in his direction before moaning. My pain is infinite, and I demand chemical supplements to end it all. The guy didn't even frown. You're not even sure whether to continue the joke or allow him to have some respect for that one. He gets one allowance of respect, and you would be very disappointed if he spent it all in one place. He gives out an I want to die sigh, reaching into a drawer across the room. When he comes back, he has a syringe, something that you're quite happy to see. It's time. He was lining it up with a weird insertion point onto the IV. He used the power of an OP-ness to push the plunger in. The other stuff was meant to heal much more slowly, last until this point while keeping the wounds from irritating themselves. His gaze moved up to yours with the slowness and jankiness of a master suspense artist. Or being irritated. Oh, yeah, you got the message. Maybe your diaphragm should have taken a break earlier. Now, the doctor told me that if the other stuff started to wear off quickly, it was time to move to the more potent stuff, and... Please tell me I'll be in the sky. He stumbles for a moment, but catches himself quickly. The look he sends you doesn't help your hopes, nor your dreams. It's built more to facilitate faster healing, at the expense of sensitivity, and a growing burning sensation. Everything was horrible in the universe, and you were at its center. Reminds me, was the syringe you just put into the mix, was it filled with this stuff? Mr. Edge laughs awkwardly, a trend you found in ponies who seems to have been caught red-handed. Or hoofed, whatever.
Yes, it was.
I have no mouth, and I must scream. Pain is the destiny of all blessed with a single hug pile in their lives. It had taken so long to understand that, but now you truly understood why happiness led to suffering. Every single scratch on your body felt like a cardboard paper cut, with added battery acid and some slight alcohol stinging, and that wasn't mentioning anything bigger. But I mean, hey, at least whatever this was set your leg back in about an hour. Miracle work it was. Too bad your leg felt like it was asleep for 5 years though, and came back screaming, in Mongolian, with Thor violently shaking it while charging it with all the lightning he possibly could, which, mind you, is infinite. Fucking gods, man. But other than that, the pure definition of pain casted upon your physical form, your everything else decided that it was a great time to take a nap. A very long, I haven't slept well in days nap. Which might have actually just been your properly falling asleep, but such heretical thoughts would go to the grave with you. It was a pretty nice dreamless sleep, the kind where everything in the universe is at peace. So, of course, the first thing you wake up to is a guard staring in your face, with the same intent to kill you. Saw post-operation boop the princess better. He had one of those weird camouflage helmets on though, so you couldn't really tell what he actually looked like. "Subject is awake, prepare for screening!" He called back into the hall, giving you a moment to actually... Wait. That was dickhead. What was this, family reunion season? Also, wait, hold on. Subject. Screening? You have a bad feeling about this. I mean, it doesn't help much when the first thing you feel, aside from the constant burning, is something jabbing into your arm. Oh, and of course, it was in the elbow too, because he obviously needed more pain, right? You'll let them know of your great discomfort, simply by whining loudly with a prolonged At least it wasn't this time. Judging by the lack of reaction any of the guards in the room gave you, though, it probably should have been. "Screening's done, he's clean." Then, they all left. It was as sudden as it sounds. The poor hospital room was damaged beyond belief by this point. Sure, I mean, Luna's shenanigans were enough to cause some disorder. Now it was just room cruelty. Actually, it kinda looked like that they searched the room. You wanted an explanation, but you also expected that you'd never get one. Wait, a guard entered the room again. Oh, it was Dickhead, and he was unhelmeted this time. And he looked extremely shifty and like ready to bolt at a moment's notice. Still, he stalked over the edge of your bed and just fixed you with an odd look. You didn't need Einstein's genes to see where this was going. He was one of the first. You roll your eyes and give him a tap on the nose before sending him off. He squealed like a happy preteen, just to add, by the way, and apparently duty doesn't surpass passion. Honestly, that wasn't really surprising. The example of clothes horse came to mind again. Wait, by the guts, you didn't make another humanly reference? Oh my god, that's progress. That's progress, right? You still had the lowest possible perception stat, however, as you somehow managed to overlook the giant snowy mass at the door. You know, probably the entire reason for the police raid earlier, intelligence was earned in your family, it was not inherited. You could blame the pain this time. Thankfully, when you do finally realize that it's Princess Celestia at the door, you don't enter paralysis mode like last time. You're a bit preoccupied by mentally slapping yourself, after all. And by the time you notice her, she seems to be halfway between a stare of bemusement and some form of uncertainty, you wager. And considering your track record, you honestly didn't blame her. You were basically the most famous and infamous outlaw of them all, right? Why haven't you asked any of your actions being illegal yet? I mean, it's probably because you want to preserve your own innocence. Being honest here, being the booping outlaw is the name you, and you alone, will hold. Oh, yeah, by the way, Celestia was approaching you now. Remember that imposing aura? Yeah, it came back with a vengeance, the kind that reminds you exactly how stupid you can be at times. It was time. Time for the law to finally catch up with you. There was no outrunning the law, but there was, however, the ability to wiggle under the sheets. Which you did. There was silence for a decent 10 seconds before you heard her casting OP please nerf, moving what you could guess was the whole room back into place. The guess might have come from the fact that your bed moved too. It did give you a solid minute to debate the meaning of life before a golden glow dragged your sheets from your head. At least you didn't go without a fight, grabbing onto them with the determination of a teenager avoiding the sunlight. But, of course, you were fighting the definition of OP itself, so you didn't get very far before being faced with a goddess. Again. You seriously put the Greeks to shame with how often this happened. Too bad they got it right on point and your self-amusing smile started to drop. Only Kratos is fit for this job. Celestia fixes you with what can be best described as a disappointed look. Before starting to pace around the room, she starts to take a moment to compose herself before fixing you with a more intense gaze.
I've come to ask you a few questions.
8 words, and you understand why she's at the top. Unlike the throne room event, she's giving out the aura of an ancient leader. And honestly makes you question how she got to that point and how you, of all people, managed to solve anything. Dark powers or not. She kept going.
I'm sure that my sister has already briefed you onto the basics that happened in Ponyville. I would like to know if you have any information concerning the events of that day.
Shit. Did someone get murdered or something? I mean, if so, you'd blame yourself too. She stops pacing to face you, standing tall. The feeling she gives off instead seems to change, like she was giving off confidence itself. Noticing this threw you off completely. Were the princess's psychic beacons or something? I mean, too bad you weren't asking the questions here. Assuming you'd ask any of your questions to anybody but yourself. Of course. Slowly fidgeting yourself back into your sitting spot with several winces, you give the day another look over in your mind. Basically, all that came back to you was the boredom, emptiness of the town, and the assaults. Perfectly average morning. Kinda. I can't really think of much. I mean, the town was empty when I got there, and I wasn't doing much, though one of the guards did...
I am aware.
Oh, okay, great. By the time I got there, it was a ghost town. There was barely nothing to see, and I know I was bored out of my fucking... You quickly stop yourself, slapping a hand over your mouth. After proceeding ow, and minutes spent waving your burning hand into the air, you refocus onto the princess. She almost looks disappointed. Again. You fucked up, didn't you? Darkness was over, you were gonna be pure sunlight now. The hydrogen in you would have a fun time, at least. She sighs and you almost have a heart attack on the spot.
Forgive me, I shouldn't have barged in like this. I should leave you to heal before asking any questions.
She frowns and closes her eyes, and leaves as abruptly as before. You were alone again. Seriously, did you do something wrong? And why did the air suddenly feel heavy? Okay, now everything hurts, and it's all you can focus on now. You just sink back under your sheets.